I'm Theodore Henry, and Jamaica Magazine is tagging in on Throwback Tuesdays, as it's known in the social space. And what better time than now to look back at the rocks that built our foundation? We are 60 years free with a history mixed with adversity and accomplishments. This celebratory season, we look back and acknowledge the drudgery of our ancestors, their rebellion, their triumph, and our now, our access to life, one of freedom and limitless possibilities. We go to the news, and a little later, we roll back time with some of our musical favorites.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, August 2. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the government will be decisive in putting measures in place to curb violence, one of which is for the state to be more active than it is now in giving support to the victims of crime and abuse.
The second thing that we have to do is to have a system of early detection, early intervention, and early warning. We will have to develop a new way of identifying violent perpetrators in our society and getting them into programs much earlier.
Mr. Holness says he's to receive an interim report soon from the Anti-Violence Commission, which will guide measures to address this issue. Other measures being taken by the government include reviewing and revising several laws, such as the Offences Against the Person, Domestic Violence, and the Child Care and Protection Acts.
When you put all of those together, what you will have is a stronger, more robust system of treating with violence in Jamaica.
Prime Minister Holness was addressing the funeral for Kamisha Wright and her 4 children at Clarendon College on Sunday, where he decried the brutal act of violence against the family. Adding their unified voices to the call for a better way to resolve conflicts were Minister of Gender Olivia Grange and Leader of the Opposition Mark Golding.
When we look into our hearts and we all work together to eliminate violence in our society, then we will be able to fight, to overcome.
We must change our ways, Jamaica. We must control our anger. We must value life and respect each other and show each other love. If we continue along this path, we will never achieve the greatness that is our destiny as a nation.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called on Jamaicans to honor the sacrifice of our national heroes by making our own sacrifice for generations to come. In his Emancipation Day message, Mr. Holness said our individual efforts in educating children, building business, and abiding by the law would leave the next generation much better off.
As you listen to this message against the backdrop of current social and economic crises, I want you to situate yourself in the generations of Jamaicans who struggled with the troubles and challenges of their time. Remember how they persevered, kept the faith, and eventually overcame to leave us a legacy on which to build. We must honor their sacrifice by making our own sacrifice for generations to come.
For his part, Leader of the Opposition Mark Golding used his Emancipation Day message to reiterate the call for reparations.
When the 311,000 former slaves left the plantations 184 years ago as free men and women, they received no compensation for their and their foreparents' unpaid labor and abuse. This underscores the justice of the claim for reparations, a process that has received bipartisan support from successive governments for over a decade and is being pursued through the National Commission on Reparations and at the regional level by the CARICOM Reparations Commission.
A celebration of peace, love, and unity marked the historic return of the float and street parade on Emancipation Day. The euphoria of the crowds, creative costume displays, and marching bands was a picture and sound missing from the island's national observance since 2008. Jamaica celebrates Emancipation Day to commemorate the full freedom from slavery granted in 1838. 8 floats traversed the route from Hope Road, pausing at halfway tree to release peace doves before continuing to the National Stadium. Government officials, led by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, released the peace doves as a symbolic moment to observe the relinquishing of the nation from the grip of crime and violence. More than 1,000 persons participated in the float and street parade, which featured a mix of culture, from the popular Jonkuna to the first-time entrance of the balloon float. The festivities are geared up to end with the Grand Gala on August 6, as Jamaica rings in 60 years of political independence. And finally, Miss Kingston and St. Andrew Velonique Bowen was crowned Miss Jamaica Festival Queen 2022 last evening. She walked away with $600,000 and a trophy. Meanwhile, Miss Westmoreland LaShawn Redwood was crowned second runner-up and Miss Clarendon's Sherry Gay Johnson first runner-up. The top three were narrowed down from a pool of 13 parish queens. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Where in this world I go, I am a Jamaican.
Jamaica comes alive as we celebrate 60 years of independence, our Diamond Jubilee. All year long, join in the celebratory events, showcasing impactful legacy projects, entertainment and exciting commemorative events. Resilient and brave, industrious. Yes, we are Jamaicans. Jamaica 60, reigniting a nation for greatness.
Them here Jamaican chat, them say Jamaican bap.
Dating back to 1966, the Jamaica Festival Song Competition always elevates our celebratory spirit during the Emancipation Independence period. Here's a look back at some of the greats.
I'm a born Jamaican, I'm a son of the soil. I love the sea, I love the sun, Lord, I love this land. Don't matter where I go, Jamaica is my home. I love the girls, coconut water and white rum.
As the calendar reaches mid-July, there's usually a buzz of activities showcasing signature festival events leading up to the country's grand independence celebration on August 6th. This highly physical, interactive period is a well-anticipated time for both the young and old.
Yeah, we love Jamaica Island.
But for the past year and a half, things have been different, with the COVID-19 pandemic suspending or forcing events into the virtual realm. Although not the same vibes, our spirits are still high as we look back on all the good times we've had in the past.
Go Jamaica, we love you!
I'm dreaming of a new Jamaica, a land of peace and love. Some say they cannot see no hope.
Festival is a melting pot of cultural activities that has something to the liking of everyone.
So let me tell you all the people love.
If fashion is your thing, 2017 was tailored to your taste.
Boom, shaka-laka, laka, boom, 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 boom. Boom, shaka-laka, laka, boom, boom, boom. Boom, shaka-laka, laka, boom, boom, boom. Boom, shaka-laka, laka, boom, boom, boom.
A must-have fixture on our independence calendar is Mellow Go Round. Here the little ones get a chance to show off huge talents.
Them say Miss Mary used to free that up in big time. She paint her whole house red. And after she done put on the red pillowcase and sheet, who that in the bed? No the dopey.
Let's keep the excitement going with some reggae dance and clash between two big sound systems.
But don't you ride like lightning? 'Cause man, if you ride like lightning, it'll crash like thunder. So going down along the way, now the song a little ways I would play. But guys, 'cause someone going down the song a little ways I would really play. Wow, baby!
Bogle move. When me say bogle, a the whole a jungle move. Man a bogle move, woman a bogle move. Picnic bogle remix the bogle move. Bogle move, bogle move. I want new dance, a beanie fine again. I want the street and the lane and road the pen. World dance is the name and the title. Dubai the done with the full blind and the cripple. I don't know why black with I love it so. And I need more roses fine and use them. Brand new dance, I worry about mad. I kill all of them roses fine and use them. A world of dance, we come to teach them.
The party name God bless. So God bless people. Make we pray for one another, man. You ready?
Make me stronger.
You ready?
Oh.
Yeah, everybody put up here. Put the get up, put the get up, put the get up, put the get up.
You make me stronger.
Everybody, we have summer now, we have summer.
Gracias,
Watch me. Everybody know, we have summer. We have summer.
Jamaica.
We have summer. We have summer. We have summer. We have summer.
To Colombia. From Canada to the US. Uganda.
Listen, we have bigger. We have bigger.
You're my creator.
Y'all go on, you know. If you know no team and not ride, you get up out of your seat. All who believe in a God, no, play that one and have this man. All who love Father God, get up out of your seat, no man. A swasher play.
I will not beg no bread. You hear me say? God is my provider.
When they feel like we're going to mash up as a country, we unite for them. All who love Father God,
Play the music, play the music, jump.
At the end of it all, the biggest excitement is the spectacular performances and fireworks to a full stadium and vibrant crowd.
Man, feel alright, but play the music sweet, sweet. No matter what you do, you can't get through unless you play the.
Let's look back on the years 2012 and 2016.
Bongo natty, down a race course, I sell rose can. Him no check fi festival, make the float them go on. When this a version bust in him head from I was born.
It was great. I had fun.
A grade for me.
The past was exciting, but so too is the future. Online or live and in living color, festival always nice.
Sip your waters, love your daughter, but play the music beat. Lick your pipe and feel alright, but play the music sweet, sweet. No matter what you do, you can't get through unless you play the music.
The story of us and our music would be told differently had it not been for this very popular musical genre. Up next, a throwback to our roots. This is ska.
Ska. Not many people can cha-cha-cha. Not everybody can do the twist, but everybody can do the ska. It's a new dance you can't resist. Ska, ska, ska. twist. Now, bow your head. Swing your arms. Shake your hip. Now, do a dip. Ska, ska, ska. Jamaica ska. Ska, ska, ska. Do the ska. Not everybody can do the twist, but everybody can do the ska. It's the new dance, you can't resist. Ska, ska, ska. Jamaica ska. Now everybody can do the ska. It's the new dance that goes like this. Now, bow your head. Swing your arms. Shake your hip. Now do a dip. Ska, ska, ska. Jamaica ska. Ska, ska, ska. Jamaica ska. Hey, hey, Play ball. Play ball. Get him on. 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 Get him on.
The lion says, I am king and I reign. The lion says, I am king and I reign. The lion says, I am king in this reign. No more kings must be in this backyard. The lion says, I am king and I reign. The elephant says, I am king cause I'm strong. The giraffe says, I am king cause my neck is long. There's no doubt that you are all wrong. The lion says, I am king cause I'm double strong. I'm king of kings and lord of lords in this land. No more back talk from any of you, cause I'm king from the beginning. I was made king. The lion says, I am king and I reign.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
A holy way of celebrating it. They say the people them in them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, burn up, them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal, panta fight, you know.
Medal.
Amount of tongue. We give them out.
These celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it pre. Activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
I download the app to get the updates then.
From the beginning of time, communication has always brought us together. Up next, the story of the Royal Mail and its place in our history.
It's an outdated practice for many, and a much slower process when compared to the speed at which technology moves today. But its efforts in revolutionizing communication is certain, especially with key players at its helm helping to shape the industry. Sure, today you may prefer to hear news from your relative overseas through an email or catch up with your friends over a phone call. But in times past, these technologies seemed unattainable and postal services a need. It is believed by some researchers that the first credible claim for the development of a real postal system comes from ancient Persia, while others date the service back to Egypt. Whatever the case, through varied stages of development, the postal industry kept the lines of communication open across the world. In Jamaica, it began in the 1600s, making the island the first British colony to have an established post office, and the Royal Mail kept the industry booming. The Royal Mail, which started in the 1960s in Jamaica, quickly became one of the primary modes of transporting mails to and from post offices across the island. With its office located in Kingston, the Royal Mail collected letters or parcels from the Central Sorting Office and other post offices and agencies for distribution right across the country. Many Jamaicans can remember the Royal Mail vans moving letters around. Captained by Charles Moore, the reach of the company quickly grew as he sought to ensure his vans went to every nook and cranny of the island.
He had all these little red buses that would go to pick up the mail. And in the mornings, we would go in early because there's a schedule for the drivers to take the little buses down to the Central Sorting Office. From that, they would collect the mail and then go deliver it where they were supposed to. And then they would come back in the evening with the empty vans. The mail industry at that point in time was significant. It made a significant contribution to business development because that's how you got your correspondence. That's how you'd get a letter. And the mail brought news. The mail van used to also transport the daily newspapers to the rural part of Jamaica too. So the mail van meant that here was information, here is something happening. So I think it contributed to business development and the growth of the economy in those times. The mail van would go to the Central Sorting Office, and pick up the mail and take it to the post offices out in the rural area. It's delivering a bundle of mail to different post office out in rural Jamaica or even in Kingston. Even if it picks it up from the Central Sorting Office, it would take it to the Halfway Tree Post Office and the Constant Spring Post Office and those post offices so that the mail could be sorted and then put in the mailboxes.
But someone had to ensure the wheels continued turning.
I was delivering mail in 80s, carry mail, and then we carry staff to and from. We carry the mail around. Sometimes we carry the postman them or the post lady. Them go deliver parcel and everything there. We have to drive the Royal Mail, go airport, from airport to CSO, and from there, sometimes we go Stone Hill, Constant Spring. Remember them time you never have telegram, you know. So we always carry a parcel come at your house. We carry a register slip come, and then we carry the parcel and you either pay or you go down on the post office suite or something. Some red mailbox, them used to drop mail in there, and then we go there with the postman and clear them at evening time. After we clear the box, like 10 boxes at evening time, then we go CSO and with the postman and them finish. You know.
Wilby's journey, as he said, was far and wide, even hitting some 58 kilometers outside of the capital.
When we lived in Manning before we moved to Kingston, we knew about Royal Mail because that was how we know to go to the post office. We would know when the Royal Mail van came and when to go to the post office to see if there were any letters for us. You know, in those days, people wrote a lot more letters than they are writing now. So I knew about Royal Mail from when I was a child, and then met Mr. Moore, who was involved in the transportation of the mail.
Charles Moore, who charted the development of the Royal Mail and dominated as a contractor in the delivery of the Daily Gleaner, distinguished himself in the field of transportation. He was driven by a commitment to create access and opportunity for every Jamaican, which proved to be the rationale behind his choice of vehicle.
You depended on the mail because you didn't have Wi-Fi. You either got a letter or you get a telegram. And he was instrumental in ensuring that people got their letters. And so the Royal Mail was all over the country. Anybody who grew up in the period in the 60s and 70s and early 80s would remember the red vans with Royal Mail. Growing up in country, in rural Jamaica, we knew the schedule of the mail van, and we knew when the mail van was going to come, and therefore when we needed to run out to Moneeg to see if there was any mail. And you could, you know, the Jamaican expression, you could put your pot on fire and know that the mail van was coming.
And while those red vans are no longer in operation, they have played a key role in connecting people to each other and expanding Jamaica's mailing industry.
This is where the party ends, but the celebration of our rebirth as a free nation goes beyond these few days. Keep your spirits high, keep singing, keep dancing, and we'll keep the information coming. Our website offers even more, so head on over. The team here at the JIS continue to be here with you throughout and wishes for you a happy Emancipation Independence season. I'm Theodore Henry. Have a good one.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.